for the Borough of Belmar and the Asbury Park Press on December 7th, 2017. Notice of this meeting was properly posted on the bulletin board of the municipal building and filed with the clerk of the Borough of Belmar.
Could you all please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If we could all just remain standing for a few moments to honor our troops and their families. And keep in mind, please keep in your thoughts Mr. Pat McCann, former St. Rose basketball coach. He's a little sick and was taken to the hospital yesterday. Okay, thank you. First up, Council, I have a resolution appointing Kevin T. Marin as a patrolman of the Belmar Police Department with advice and consent of the Borough Council. Can I have a second? I'll second.
Councilman Levis?
Yes.
Councilman Oscar?
Yes.
Councilman Brennan?
Yes.
Council President Nicolay?
Yes.
Mayor McGovern?
Yes. So now, can you join me down the floor for the oath of office?
Chief Andrew Heisman is up.
Kevin Marin. Kevin was born and raised in Kent Falls, New Jersey. Parents to Annette and David Marin. Two brothers, Brian and David. Which one's the twin? Girlfriend for 3 years, Kim Kubish. He graduated Monmouth Regional High School. Graduated in 2013, Westchester University with a degree in criminal justice. He completed an internship at Delaware Park Patrol, and then in May of 2016 was hired by the Belmar Police Department as a SLEO 1 special. In 2017, he was hired as a Class 2 special and completed the Monmouth County Police Academy in May of 2017. It's my honor to graduate you, police officer, Class A. Thank you.
Congratulations. Who would you like to hold the Bible? Okay. Can you hold the Bible? Place your left hand on the Bible. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I'll do 3 or 4 words at a time. You know. I, Kevin Marin, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States and in the State of New Jersey under the authority of the people, and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties as police officer for the Borough of Belmar to the best of my ability. So help me God. Congratulations. Here comes the hard part. Don't be nervous.
Stand.
We don't want a policeman crying. Ooh, it's close.
Give him a touch.
And Councilman Brennan. Councilwoman Nicolay? Councilman? Okay. You want to say anything to your family, crowd?
I just want to thank my family, my friends, and obviously my girlfriend Kim for supporting me throughout the process. Also, I want to thank the town council and Mayor McGovern, and also, most importantly, the Belmar Police Department for giving me the opportunity of a lifetime. I look forward to serving the community for the next 30 years. Thank you.
30 years.
Retired 23 years.
Kevin, Monmouth Regional Falcons?
Yes, sir.
Black and gold? All right. Still got it. The family members that were here, you have to stay. To the end of this meeting. Just go expect me to say something at the microphone.
We'll be right back.
Okay, we'll all be right back, right? Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, moving right along to the workshop discussion. This is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and Council President Nicolay has a proclamation to read.
As a breast cancer survivor, I am honored to be able to read this proclamation designating the month of October in each year as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Whereas the National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, NBCAM, educates women about the importance of early detection for breast cancer. Since NBCAM's inception, mammography use has doubled and breast cancer death rates have declined. Still, many women do not utilize mammography at regular intervals. Whereas in recognition of the fact that mammography is the best available method of detecting breast changes that may be cancer, long before physical symptoms can be seen or felt, and that breast cancer deaths could decline further if all women aged 40 and older received mammograms at regular intervals. Whereas October 2018 marks the 34th anniversary of National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which is dedicated to increasing awareness of breast cancer issues, especially the importance of early detection. And now therefore be it resolved, the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Belmar, County of Monmouth, State of New Jersey, do hereby proclaim October as National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. All women and their families in the Borough of Belmar, County of Monmouth, and State of New Jersey are urged to get the facts about mammography and breast cancer detection.
Thank you, Jen. Next on the workshop discussion, we have scheduled the Better Angels Group presentation. So, folks, you want to step forward? I understand you have a PowerPoint program that you...
Maybe you can join us off the dais so that we can
Sure.
do the PowerPoint. It'll get brighter in just a second. We got the one on.
It's a little difficult. Should I
Uh,
so you wanna
swing this
look at
around?
it?
Yeah, why don't you swing it around and talk into the
This way?
microphone.
Hopefully you can look over my shoulder. Good evening. My name is Greg Lesman, 409 10th, and this is Donna Falk. This evening, we're here representing the Belmar Better Angels. More of our group is here, seated for moral support. You may remember us. We were here at the July 17th council meeting to introduce ourselves, kind of describe what we're doing, why we're doing it. First off, we'd like to thank the council and mayor for giving us this opportunity to talk and also to participate in this aspect of the government. This evening here, we want to talk about the Belmar website, belmar.com, that is. You may be wondering why focus on the website. As a group, the VBA that is, we feel the communication between Belmar's boards and council and the residents of Belmar is of particular importance. We also feel that in some instances, and certainly in the past, there's communication hasn't been as great as it could be. While there are several mechanisms for communicating, everything from newspapers, bulletin boards, code red announcements, code blue announcements, there's also the website. We feel the website offers the greatest opportunity for that communication, but also we feel that the website can be improved a little bit. So rather than just take pot shots at the website, we decided that what we do to try and better assess the quality of the website is to do a survey, and that is to survey several websites in the area to see how they do things, and maybe we can pick up some pointers from there. Maybe we can do it. Maybe we can pick up the best of all websites. So what we did was we put together a survey of roughly 50 questions. Those questions covered 4 general areas, 4 major areas. First general website stuff. Who builds your website? Who maintains it? Do you have a dedicated IT person? How much does it cost? The next thing we're interested in was council meetings, such as this. Do you post agendas? Do you post meeting notes? Do you post presentations? Third section was very similar, but about zoning meetings. Same sort of thing. Do you post presentations? Do you film it? Are those films posted? The very last, the fourth, had to do with municipal activities. Is there a newsletter? Can I subscribe to that newsletter? Can you sell beach badges? Can I pay my water and sewer bill? Can I pay my garbage bill? That sort of thing through the website. So what we're going to discuss here tonight is basically the results of that survey. We tried to summarize it in PowerPoint, and at the end, we'll kind of make some recommendations of things that we thought were worth pursuing. Next slide. So first, a little bit of a disclaimer. So in order to collect this information, we went to the websites, our members went to the websites, called, spoke with administrators, clerks, secretaries. The qualitative level of the information we gathered varies. In some cases, we'd get exact information. In other cases, we'd get once a week, once a month. So I just want to point out that we didn't do qualitative studies here. We collected the best information we could, and in light of that, we still feel as though we've got a solid foundation to make some of these recommendations. So these are the towns that we surveyed. We tried to pick towns that were about the same size as Belmar, shore towns, and also within the same general area. Next, please. So the thing to take from this slide, there are a couple of things. First of all towns are managed, or almost all towns, have hired professional web services to design and support their web services. That's just kind of, you can expect that. There's one in Seagirt, they rolled their own, but they're looking to redo it and hire professionals to do it anyway. But the other thing that we noticed while we were investigating the people who supported the web services is that the bulk of the contractors doing this work, they did what we would like to refer to as civic-based websites, things that are more oriented towards supporting the municipalities. Belmar, on the other hand, seemed to go a little bit more towards marketing.
may be appropriate for the tourism side of the website, but in looking at some of the other websites, they seem a little better organized to be able to extract municipal information by residents. This slide talks about satisfaction. We asked, so one of the things we asked was, were you satisfied with the support of your contractor, and would you recommend them? So this actually represents 2 questions. Both of the scales are a scale of 5. So for example, experience with the contractor. Belmar reported a 4.5 out of 5 experience with the contractor. In other words, we were quite satisfied with our contractor. And the 5 out of 5 says we would recommend. So the bottom line here is that everybody seems pretty satisfied with the people who are providing the web services. Next slide. Website updates. In our view, this is kind of key because if a website is out of date, you're getting old information, you're getting stale information, eventually people will just stop going there. If you can't get up-to-date information for weeks afterwards, then it's not quite so useful. So what we found is that most of the towns we surveyed fell into 1 or 2 categories. Either they would do it daily and spend a lot of time doing it, or they would do it frequently. Not necessarily spend a lot of time, but do it frequently. And in other cases, it would be done more or less on an as-needed basis. Not really sure who determines what's as needed, but that's kind of once again. In some cases, we couldn't get definitive answers, and as needed as well. It's, someone is making a decision, okay, I think now it's time to do it. Belmar fell into that category. Next question we asked was, well, who's responsible for doing these updates? And to kind of cut through a lot of this, for the most part, town employees are used to do the updates. One municipality actually has help from an outside company, but in general, people within municipal government are doing it, whether they be clerks, secretaries, police officers. It's just kind of divvied up across. In Belmar, April does all this for us, and she does a very good job. But again, others, we're told other departments have access to do updates to the website, but really it seems April's actually participate in that. Next slide. More the same topic. All municipalities use, they always use full-time people. They don't bring in people specifically to do this. People who are doing other things as part of their job, they update the website. Belmar, as far as amount of time, it looks like we're dedicating about an hour a week to keeping the website up to date. Training. No specific training. It seems very few towns offer any sort of specific training. Belmar falls into that same category. The web services company comes, sets the whole thing up, gives you a couple pointers. Okay, this is what you're doing, and it just gets done. We did note that no towns hire dedicated IT people to do this work. Essentially, it's all, and it seems to be pretty much getting done without hiring a dedicated person. So, hiring a consultant to do this might be a little expensive. Next slide, please. So the next thing we talked about was, or asked, is how long after a meeting, this is agendas, do you post agendas for meetings ahead of time, and if so, how much ahead of time? And the general answer seemed to be, yes, we do post agendas, and it'll be a couple days ahead. Very similar to next slide. We asked a couple more detailed questions. Presentations, for example. This presentation was sent ahead of time to the members of the board. Do things like this get posted so that people coming to the meeting, they can take a look at it? A presentation like this you might not be so interested in, but when someone's trying to, I don't know, build 24 units on 2 lots, you might want to see those details ahead of time. And in fact, really no one does that.
Doesn't mean we should.
Doesn't mean we should.
Now, that's against state law. Is that?
Oh, is it?
Colleen?
Is it?
I know that there are, with some development projects and zoning projects, that there is a notice requirement, so if changes are made, the property can be updated. So it may vary from project to project, but it doesn't mean that all of them can or all of them can, but case by case.
Yeah, I believe there's a state law where you can't send that out over the internet, so the people have to come in and check it out.
Physically pick it up.
Oh, like the plans?
Yeah. So, and for obvious reasons, you can sue, obvious reasons.
So the other thing we asked about was live streaming of meetings. Now, no one does that. Some of the bigger towns, towns that we did not include in our survey, one town did, but no towns of our size. Videos, video recordings of the meetings. Yes, there are 2 towns that do, Belmar being one, very nice. Makes it easy to consume the information afterwards. This presentation was put together about 2 weeks ago. Since then, the recordings have been updated, and the last 2 are up to date, so we're up to date on that. Next slide. Meeting minutes, the minutes that will be generated from this meeting. Belmar doesn't do a great job here. This indicates the meeting minutes accessible from the web page haven't been updated in a couple months. Some towns try and do it immediately after approval, like the next meeting, some within 30 days. I think we're a little behind there. Next slide. Zoning board. I'm going to try and pick this pace up a little bit because I really want to get to the recommendations. Zoning board, pretty similar. Belmar targets about a week before for the agendas. Everybody posts meeting dates, schedules. No towns, we talked about no towns post presentations of materials to be discussed. Minutes are posted by some towns. Belmar does post minutes, however, a little sporadically. Website transactions. This has to do with what could you as a resident do on the website. Badge sales, that seems to be picking up some momentum. There are actually 5 of the 7 websites that we surveyed. There's 4 there down below. Seabird also do, but with a different company. Spring Lake, Seabright, and Swan Bradley Beach, they use something called Pipple. Ocean Grove, based on their website, Ocean Grove and Asbury also use the same service.
I think Asbury also has something where you can buy daily badges, kiosk. I saw that.
But this is to be able to buy badges online at the website. Some of the other towns do some nice things online: garbage, water, sewer. Seabird is kind of nice, and they will allow you to hook up to a bank and have your money automatically withdrawn from your bank. No checks, of course you typically receive a bill, but the money will be withdrawn.
Is that what community pass is?
No, community pass. Community pass is for beach badges. So of the 5 municipalities that do online beach badges, 4 use Viply. Seabird uses community pass.
So
It's another service.
We do use it for recreation activities. I know basketball.
That's so
I'm sorry, we do recreation enrollments and payments through Community Pass as well. And we had Viply last year, found it underperforming and didn't bring it back this year.
that was for the umbrella services, yes?
No.
Beach badges. So as far as things being able to pay bills, really Belmar doesn't really support it yet. Newsletters, some towns have newsletters. We don't. We have subscriptions. You can go to the website and you can sign up for newsletters and so forth, but you don't get paid. So I think that area is lower. Ongoing support, as you can see, Belmar pays a fair amount to your target marketing to support its web services. There are a couple other, I'll get to that in the recommendation. That's the.
Can I just ask a question? Are the comparisons there, 'cause in our annual fee, we're actually maintaining 3 websites? Is that similar in the other towns as well?
We assumed it was municipal and tourism. Is there a third?
Library.
Oh, the library. Okay, so just some summaries. Yes, well, so one of the first things we noticed was this idea of civic focused web services. Most everybody is going with the civic focused web service, Belmar, with your target market. Most towns, what they're doing is they're getting 24/7 support from their web services, and they're doing the updates with their local employees. Most towns post agendas and minutes of council meetings, less consistent with zoning. This is pretty much all towns. They're better with their town council meetings than they are with their zoning plan. Belmar and Bradley Beach, kind of ahead of the curve with videoing meetings and posting those. And a couple of the municipalities, a little better at online transactions. They sell more, they allow residents to do more online. So now comes the recommendation section where we got together and kind of looked at everything that we consumed and collected. And so we broke the recommendations down into two groups. Technology-focused recommendations, that is things that a service provider can enforce, and the other is personnel. What the people working in the town might be able to do. So the first, we did, over the course of using the web site, feel that some of the links weren't as clean, some of the layout wasn't as clean as it could have been. You can kind of fumble around on the website and then kind of get to the place where you wanted to be, sometimes not really sure how you got there. So we felt that the website could be a little easier to navigate, and in particular for mobile devices, because basically everybody's got a phone. Everybody wants to be able to do everything on their phone or a tablet, or some people still use laptops, but really mobile and the website needs a little work in that area. Probably the next biggest thing is this idea of online services, to be able to do these things online. And this is not new. I mean, who doesn't pay bills directly from the bank, or specify a credit card, or who really, how many people, what percentage of people write checks nowadays and stuff in it? I'm sure there's some people do it, but there's a lot of people going in the other direction. That kind of has improved efficiency, time saving, cost saving, little convenience to the residents. Simplified links within the web page, same sort of thing. You're only going to poke a link so many times before you get tired and confused and just give up and walk away. Next, please. This is getting back to that civic-focused web page. Maybe it'll make it a little cleaner. Projectors at town meetings. This worked out well for us. It would have been hard to do this without a projector. Next.
But also like document readers, right? Like, is that what you're talking about? Like,
Well, if I was referring to before presentation, what was that?
I'm just saying, like, if we're putting out the plans, like when we're at the zoning meeting, when we're sitting in the audience, we can never see it. So if they have like document readers, that can project also. So projectors for these things, but also projecting things that people are looking at up here, we can never see.
So we're kind of in the blind when the people at the dais are reading documents and discussing them, and we're sitting in this, not really know what's going on. Website areas dedicated to the residents. Again, that's kind of the same concept of again, we're looking at this from the perspective of residents. Now, of course, Belmar has 2 viewpoints, at least 2, residents and people they want to come into town as tourists. Our focus is residents, what we'd like to see in this. To be able to subscribe, so it would be really nice, for example, if you could say, I want to know when the agenda for the zoning board meeting is posted, or when the meeting notes from the last council meeting was posted. I'd like to know, send me a piece of mail when that happens. So I'd like to be able to register for those. And when it happens, I'll go to the website and go over them if I want. So the advantage of that is the people who are really interested can get the information. If you're interested, you'll register. If you're not interested, you won't be hanging up on code red and code blue because you don't really care. So it's very efficient, very effective way of communicating with the people who want to consume the information. Live feed at town meetings, I don't know, that'd be cool, but I don't really expect it. So personnel, update. You know, if the website can be updated, there's still references in the website to our previous mayor, to
Maureen, I think, was outdated, right? Prices maybe from 2 years ago.
So to keep that up to date, really creates a little more transparency, keeps all the residents aware of what's going on, and also enables more participation by the residents, because they feel they can know what's going on when they want to know what's going on. I think that's, is there any more? Okay. Yeah, so this really just more the same. Posting meeting minutes, like I said, the videos are up to date, that's great. Meeting minutes are a little behind. Agendas come out pretty well on time. Dedicated IT person, I know that might be good, but that's kind of over the list. So really, if there are 3 things, right? We talked about a lot of stuff, but if there are just 3 things that you take away from this, if and when the township decides to rebuild the website, go with a service provider who's a little more municipally focused. And we found Zumu to be, what little investigation we did, we found Zumu to be a real possibility. Another one, virtual towns, and they just merged with Civic Plus. That was another good possibility. And the assumption is that an updated build of the website would make it easier to navigate and clean up the links and so forth. Second thing to remember, online transactions. It's just, we have to do that. I mean, the world is just, just moving in that direction. And the third thing is update the website. So if those 3 things could be focused on, I think we'd be able to improve the communication from the town and its boards to the residents in a pretty significant way. So the only other thing I would ask is that if you feel that we have some reasonable recommendations and you're interested in pursuing this, that we could set up a meeting, say in a month or so, to work with one of the councilmen and pursue any recommendations of ours that you feel are worth pursuing.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions, or?
We'll get up and we'll talk.
Thank you.
Okay, Councilman Levis, you want to respond with anything?
Yeah, I think a lot of the recommendations, especially the ones for the online services, are a big benefit. I know for me, if I gotta get my dog license, I need to show up at Borough Hall. And that usually requires someone with a job to take a day off of work to do something like that. So, yeah, we're kind of in the Stone Age, I'd say, when it comes to online web services. And I did take the liberty of going through your presentation before tonight's meeting, so I could sort of inform myself on some of your recommendations. And I get your point, especially when it comes to updates. When I was sitting on the Harbor Commission, we tried for a long time to make some updates to that website. And we had some good momentum going. We had a good guy who was really good with IT, and he has since left. So we kind of were back at square one after he left us. So I think we have problems. We're not perfect, right? And I think it's good that we recognize the problems that we do have with our website. And feedback like this is really constructive, because it's not attacking any individual, or it's not attacking us as a government body, but it's giving us constructive feedback and things we can take away to actually make improvements. So I'd like to look at some of these recommendations, maybe even look at getting some type of consultant service to say, hey, here's what we can do to your website, to the borough as a whole. I know, speaking with Colleen last week, we had actually, I know we're looking at doing some online services to the website coming in the future.
Yeah.
So, you're not falling on deaf ears. We definitely hear you, and we definitely want to get some of these online services up and running to make a better user experience for the residents, for the ultimate customers.
Art?
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, there was definitely some good points in there. I think we have to really probably hire somebody to come in and really straighten it all out. All the online stuff, and I think they, just to expand a little bit more, is even sending out the water bills and sending out tax bills should be all done online. Save the postage, all of that, I think we have to really take a look to put online. But I think doing it in-house, it probably is not the way to go. We're probably going to have to look at a couple companies to set it all up and do it, and do it the right way. It might cost a couple bucks at the beginning, but it's going to actually save us a lot of money in the long run. We got to do it smarter, streamline it, and I mean, in today's day and age, you go online for everything, even down to filing for a construction permit. You have to be, and it would save so much time for the employees here to streamline it that way, so that 11 o'clock at night, when I order beach badges, you can just do it and sell them. But yeah, I think we really have to expand on it, take a look at it, and if we're going to do it, bring in a professional and set it all up the right way.
Thank you. Tom?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to thank you for the presentation. And I got to tell you, you're saying the same stuff I've been saying for a long time. As a former website administrator myself, I can tell you, unless you have somebody, it doesn't have to be their only job, and I think it's very eye-opening that all the other municipalities use their own employees. They don't pay an outside agency to maintain the website. They pay them to set it up. And then once it's set up, they have their employees take care of it. Be that as it may, it still needs to be somebody's responsibility to make those updates, because the updates have to be regular. Catch as catch can just doesn't work. I mean, there's definitely going to be lag. I can't see us posting minutes to a meeting that haven't been approved at the next meeting. You can't do that. So, I mean, we're going to approve the minutes tonight from the last meeting. I don't see why those aren't up on the website tomorrow. I mean, that's one of the things. If we have somebody who's part of their job is to take 10 minutes to take the Word document and turn it into a PDF and put it on the website in the section that's like minutes from meetings, then we need to make those kind of arrangements. I think if we're going to look for a consultant to design, we ought to get in touch with anyone, all those companies that we're just naming, and let them pitch us, see what they're going to sell us, and see, which seems like the best fit, including the best price. And the one thing I'm concerned about with online payment of bills, we want to make sure, and I don't know chapter and verse on this because I stopped doing website administration along with problem. This was a big thing. Some services charge fees for transactions, correct? And some don't. And I want to see, I would like to see, I'm not saying we shouldn't. I think some people might be willing to pay a fee. We need to find out. If that's our choice between a service that's not that great because they don't charge anything, or a service that's really very efficient but does have a charge involved, what's the best thing for the community? What do most people in the community want? Are they willing to spend 50 cents on their bill or whatever the fee is? If that's acceptable, then I see us doing that. But we have to be aware of that as part of our consideration.
Thank you. Councilwoman Dupre?
Yeah, I just feel that many of the issues that were addressed are things that we are very well aware of and have looked over and looked at through the years. A lot of it comes down to budget and cost. Like Mr. Brennan, Councilman Brennan said, there are fees involved, especially for paying things online. I'm old school. I still do a lot of paper check writing. I write all my thank you notes. And we do have to consider that a part of our population are seniors, people that may work with technology, may not. So I don't think everything, has to be or should be online. We will still have to send out the tax bills and the water bills, et cetera. But I think a lot of the things had to do with cost or head count. The recommendations are great. I do believe it's things that we are well aware of. I was pleased recently to hear that we are rolling out an online payment system in January. The recreation one has been going very, very well. So that's a nice option for people. I do know a lot of people come to Borough Hall just to meet and greet and see people and talk to April and Kelly. So, I still hope that that's available. But I want to thank you for addressing those issues. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. Excellent presentation, and I'm sure we can always improve. I don't want to call it the council, but if you've been coming in and speaking with our administrator last couple of weeks, you would know that we are going to start accepting online payments starting the fiscal year 2019 in January. So residents will be able to pay their water, their taxes, and the sewer online. Now, speaking to Colleen, she would have told you that. Otherwise, the mention of beach badges. I can see maybe some of the beach badges online after Memorial Day. But the fact that people come into Belmar, let's say at Christmas time, or in the months of St. Patrick's, parade, the business people in town love to have those thousands of people coming in to town and not then shooting down to the beach. That's a big plus for our business people to be able to sell beach badges from Borough Hall. This person has to walk in. What else do they do? They may walk along Main Street. They may go into a store. They may stop at a restaurant. That's good business. If they like it, they may come back during the summertime and frequent those businesses instead of just going to the beach and leaving the beach. So I can selling beach badges after Memorial Day or during the beach season. But, we can, certainly upgrade some of the things that you brought up. But, yeah, starting the new fiscal year in 2019, we didn't start it in October or November, because we're in the fourth quarter. That would just confuse things. But it's been decided. I kind of recommend that you, on your weekly meetings or twice a week, come in and ask the administrator what's new or what's going on. She would have told you. Other than that, as far as April goes, April, we'd like to get somebody else to do this, but April has so much on her plate. We're not going to ask April to start adding this. We're going to have to find other employees, train other employees that are capable of doing this. I mean, she's the borough clerk, she's the zoning clerk, she's a planning board clerk, she assists the construction office. To come in and say, well, April, you know the computers better than anybody else. You should do this. She can't. Poor girl is just like overwhelmed with work sometimes. And to say that she's behind, if you saw her workload, you probably understand that. And people that know April know she works as hard as you possibly can and gets things done, and she gets it done right. So, I mean, what you brought forward today was, yeah, we can improve it, make it easily more to navigate it better. Some of the suggestions are great. You don't want me doing it. I don't know how to do that. But I don't know how difficult it is to do it. I don't know how much time, if we need another employee, but certainly we are moving in that direction. So that's what I have to say. Thank you. Okay, next on the workshop. Just want to mention that the 10th Avenue circles are going to be done. Is that correct there, Mike? We can do that fairly soon?
Do whatever you ask.
Done as in gone?
Yeah. A perfect example of why they had to come out when you're moving the restrooms off the beach. How'd you do it coming down 10th Avenue with those circles?
You cannot make the turns, as most big trucks cannot.
Right.
So we end up just going slow, going over them, stopping traffic 4 ways, and then we drive over the circles with the trailer. So it would have been nice if we were going to do this last week, but next year will be better.
Okay, so I think we spoke about it before, the 10th Avenue circles. Turns out that we don't need a resolution or an ordinance to take them out because they weren't put in by ordinance or resolution, so we can get that work done. We've been told by the county that 16th Avenue, because it's a county road, we have to remove the stop signs going east in, actually going east because it's a one-way. I thought they worked well. I thought they slowed down the traffic. It was a county road. I don't think it's going to be safer by taking them out. Actually, I wish the county could do something for us at 16th Avenue from Highway 35 to Highway 71, because the traffic, especially during the summer and on certain nights during the week, people rush from Highway 35 down 16th Avenue to Highway 71, and then of course they drive too fast going west, leaving town. So, Colleen, can you fill us in on what the administrator told us today?
We've been in conversations with the county now for several weeks, if not over a month, with regards to the placement of the stop signs. This has been a partnership with the county since we first started the discussion about going one way year-round, if you recall. It is a county road. They were actually requiring us to go one way because of the safety of the length of the road. Our express wish all along was to have stop signs placed at A and D consistent as our planned pattern throughout town. We thought it was something that could be worked through, and I do believe they tried very hard to work. The chief can correct me, but I believe it is a state DOT reg that requires certain traffic counts and crash data in order to substantiate the stop signs. We've spoken with some traffic engineers who have essentially told us that even if we pay for the study, we likely are not going to pass it.
You wouldn't get the numbers we need
Correct.
to justify that sign.
And so the chief has worked hard on this to try to get them to stay, as have I. And now we've gotten through the season, the county has essentially told us it's time for them to come down. We're going to keep working on this in the off-season. This isn't something that we want to let go of. We believe that the road is safer with consistent stop patterns throughout town. And so with the council's permission, we can continue to investigate that. If hiring a traffic engineer to try to do the study, if there's another angle we've missed, certainly the chief and I can talk about that and investigate that.
What about put them up in the summertime?
That's on the table that we want to
Yeah,
ask.
that sounds like something we can get.
In light of the volume and how.
Absolutely,
Yes.
different road.
What about letters from residents to the county? Yeah?
Mayor, you certainly could do that. The long story is that they don't fall under the requirements on the bond. So it's pretty much by the book. We are not the only town that has tried to do this out on Granite Beach over the years. County roads and the stop signs are regulated by the DOT standards. County ones, they certainly looked at it. We worked very hard with the administrator. It's pretty much black and white. If the volume is not there, then they won't fall under DOT requirements. Not to say that we cannot, push forward this during summer months, like Councilman Brennan said. That certainly would be an option. And that would be ideal if we can move forward on that. But it just takes time, and we have to do some studies on it.
Has our police department found those four-way stops to be very effective in reducing traffic and accidents?
I believe so. I believe that throughout the town, uniform of the stop signs, as well as 16th Avenue, we do have the breakaway signs for 25 miles per hour. Yield, stop and rest including stop signs. I think that they've done what they were supposed to do.
Okay, great. Thank you. Anybody else have anything for?
How long would a study take or something like that?
We think we could probably complete the study. You need certain volumes, as Councilman Walsford would know, certain volumes at a certain time of the year. So it's not necessarily that it's a difficult study to compile, but the data that you need to be able to sample from high volume times requires you to stretch out that period. And the county has expressed they're willing to work with us. They're willing to try to think of ways to get this to happen, but we've just not been successful yet.
Do we know what the approximate cost for a long, year-long traffic study would be?
It was about 15,000.
Anything else? Okay. Seeing none, we'll close the workshop discussion and we'll move to petitions. Is there anybody out in the audience that has a petition? If so, step forward and oh. Seeing none, we'll move on to the approval of minutes.
I make a motion that the minutes of the October 2nd, 2018 meeting of Belmar Mayor and Council be approved and entered into the record.
Second.
Councilman Levis?
Aye.
Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Councilwoman Nicolay?
Yes.
Mayor McGovern?
Yes.
Councilman Walsford?
Yes.
Okay, now we move to reports of council. Councilman Levis.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to report that online basketball registration will be open tomorrow on the 17th. It will close on the 31st. There will also be in-person registration on the 18th from 6 p.m. to 7:30. The cost is $35 for kindergarten through first grade and $55 for second through eighth grade. And that is on the community pass. If you go to www.register.communitypass.net/Belmar. You'll find a way to register your children for basketball. And that's really the only report I have, Brian. Other than I had one question on the ordinances that we have on tonight's agenda.
Okay.
I think for the Park Commission, I know it's implied, but maybe we should memorialize it, that the members should consist of Belmar residents.
Cool, I just thought that was an automatic.
That's what I said. I know it's implied, but I believe in other commissions we have that. And I also question 7 members. Seems like it might be a little bit heavy for this type of commission. I know in the Harbor Commission we had 7 members, but 2 of those members were council representatives. I feel for something like this, if we're not going to have council representatives, we may not need the same number of personnel. I feel like maybe we could get away with 5.
How about 5 and one of them being a council member? And then 2 alternates?
I don't even know if we need alternates for this type of committee. Being that it's only an advisory committee.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Mark?
Yeah, the only thing that I had in here is, I don't know if we should add that whatever discussions happen out here or recommendation, it goes to the business administrator, you know, so that everything that they talk about or anything like that has to go through the business administrator to get anything done, so you can look at the financial costs and then maybe, I don't know if it has to be in here or some type of bylaws or anything like that, that their function would be like to put a 1, 3, 5-year plan together, so like if they come back with us, they want to lay up one of the parks or something like that, and we can't financially afford it the 1 year that it comes out, we can put in a 3-year plan or a 5-year plan or something like that. So I don't know if that should be added to the ordinance, or do we make up some kind of bylaws for them to go by? But the main thing is that everything would have to come through the business administrator, that would come out of there, and then on to mayor and council.
You think it should pass through the business administrator before it comes to?
Well,
Because these are only recommendations, they're not.
well, the thing is that, you know, like, if it's gonna be something big, that you can sit down with the business administrator, go through the financial costs, go through everything before it actually comes to us to say that we're gonna make this big change or anything like that, and then once we know what all the financial costs would be, you know, on little things, I mean, you know, my main concern is that you don't get 7 people calling up Mike People love those calls. Like, I mean, even putting flowers around the parks or anything like that, there's always a cost involved. There's no water, and that, and come up with, and then business administrator and our DPW supervisor can talk about it and talk with them before it actually comes to us for approval or anything like that. So, I mean, that's my main concern on it. It's like, and the reason why I say that is because we have a bicycle pedestrian and safety committee, and people got frustrated because there's so many recommendations going on, and they didn't realize that the expense and the manpower to do a lot of these things, and then when they kept getting shot down, people got a little bit frustrated. But if they have a clear path of what's going to go on, and they have a 1 year, that little things could be done in a 3-year plan, if you have something bigger, a 5-year plan, that you could work towards that. This way they have direction and people don't get frustrated. Because everything that we're putting in always has a financial cost, so you break that down and see what we can afford that year. So I don't know if we want to put that in the ordinance, or do we want to make it like some kind of a bylaw for them, for a guide, so that, people understand exactly what this Parks Commission is for.
Greg, what do you think? In the ordinance or put it as a bylaw, as Mr. Walsford?
With respect to the business administrator issue?
Yeah.
What I was going to suggest is that, so 15.2.2C indicates that the Parks Commission's chairperson will be the liaison to the Borough Council. What I could put is who shall serve as the Park Commission's point of contact with the Borough Council, which shall be known to the business administrator. We change that line to more as a business administrator point, and then for the 5 members, I reduced it to 5. Instead of 3, 2, and 2 for the first staggered terms, it would be 2, 2, and 1. Because Halloween, it's nothing, so that's good. And Belmar residence is an excellent point, so that's what I would.
Okay, great.
I think I can accomplish all that with those 3 changes that you guys are talking about.
Okay.
Lost track. Mark, I guess your report to council?
Oh, thank you, Mayor. We had a Harbor Commission meeting, and a lot of the topics that came up, where we have a big waiting list for the wave runners or jet skis, and a big waiting list for kayaks, so, for the kayak wreck. So there was a big discussion on whether we should raise the rates on them, and then the slips, the littler slips that are not filling up, do we take a look at maybe lowering a little bit of the rates on those to try to attract boats for next summer? We also talked about trying this winter to get the whole real Wi-Fi, because I don't think it was done this summer. So we also talked about that, and then of course, always the parking discussion came up. So they want to talk about a little bit more of expanding boat owners' permit parking, maybe to those parking spaces that are directly straight on into the sidewalk there. Like we have the other ones are vertical. There's a couple spaces there that go straight in, and they were asking if we would consider making them boat owners only in those spots. So
How many spots are talking? How many spots?
I think it's probably like 7, maybe.
Yeah, it's
10.
except for 10 additional
Yeah.
ones.
If you go with the marina, they're straight into the
Yeah.
bulkhead right there, and so they're asking if we could expand to that. So
What are they using that for now? Is that like handicaps?
Just
or-
general parking.
Just general parking?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was a nice spot where we had the depth to pick up the perpendicular parking, so we picked up quite a few more spots there.
yeah.
That is something that we can take a look at.
Jen, how do we, Cobb, how do we do on the busy weekends, allowing the slip owners to park in the trailer lot when the trailer is left, and not allow the restaurant tour people to park in there?
I'm gonna say, it's unfortunate we don't have more examples of it working well, because
Oh, the rainy weather.
the rainy weather didn't force as many of those
Okay.
situations as it did in prior seasons. Off the top of my head, I think it happened 3 times, where the police, did a great job going down there, making sure that the lot was controlled and that boat owners had access to it, but it didn't happen to the extent that it has in years prior.
Yeah, because what we thought was, on a busy weekend, a lot of boats come in you know, they use the trailers, put the boat in the water, take the boat out of the water, and sometimes a lot of times they leave by 4 o'clock in the afternoon, where sometimes the slip owners can come down, the restaurant's already open, taking up the spaces, but let those slip owners park in the trailer lot as the trailers leave, but not allow any restaurant people to park in there. And that's a pretty big lot, and it would accommodate, I bet you, for any of the slip owners. And it's near where the slip owners dock their boats.
And I just want to offer, the chief has been thinking about this in advance of the season ending and us going into the winter, even engaging in an engineer or traffic engineer. You know, we're going to be talking about some of these other issues. It might be nice to have a fresh set of eyes on that parking lot and see what we can do to maximize.
Yeah,
So-
maybe we can get a sticker like when you go to recycling, we have that little Belmar shell. So if the slip owner, when they come pay their fee, we can do that in their window so that anyone at that entrance to the trailer lot would know it's a slip owner and allow them to park in there. Yeah. Right, very good. Are you finished?
Yes.
Okay, excellent.
Oh, no, I do have one more thing,
Oh, yeah.
sorry. I just wanted to ask Mike Campbell, with the daylight savings coming up, how are we doing with all the streetlights? And do we have somebody out checking all those streetlights to make sure they're all working?
I will make sure that, the police usually do it in their patrols, so I'll make sure that they talk to the chief and get something done ASAP, and then we will be addressing these poles. We did have a couple of them rain fixed today, actually, but again, with the daylight savings, it is time to do it, so it's an excellent point, and we will be moving forward with that.
Who fixes them, JCP&L?
The ones that we do are ours. If their JCPL lights are out, we will call them in at that point. We'll get the pole number and call the lights out number and report them, and they'll come in, and they're pretty good at that also, as long as they get the report.
I don't know if they can be fixed, I don't know if they're totally destroyed during Sandy, but those two JCP&L poles that are supposed to light up the park, no,
I
they're
met
down.
with JCP and L the other day on that, actually, and I don't have an update.
Okay, because the neighbors in that area are aware of people in there at night and the lights aren't on, so, you know, sometimes that's where the problems are created.
Thanks, Mike.
Councilman Brennan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So we get letters. We find letters in our mailboxes here. Most of the time, every once in a while you get oh, that was a great job thing, but most of the time, letters aren't the nicest letters. Most of the time, it's complaints. People have a right to complain. But I got the best letter in my mailbox today. I got this letter from young Grace Osmond. Dear Mr. Brennan, I enjoyed reading the article on the monarch butterflies in the Coast Star recently. I raised 37 monarch butterflies this year. I am a student in 3rd grade at West Belmar School. I would like to be involved in the planting of milkweed. How can we make it happen? Her mom had helped her with that. So she gives me the mom's phone number and email, and I emailed the mom. This is it's great. I mean, I can tell you, I didn't know anything about butterflies until my wife started raising monarchs. But monarch butterflies they're a real indicator of the health of the environment. And there's a big problem for the butterflies because they're natural, and they migrate all the way to Mexico. It's an amazing thing, you know. And it's not, the butterfly that leaves Jersey is not gonna be the one that arrives in Mexico. It's like, they propagate along the way, and then they come back. And Mary's been doing this for more than 10 years. She's been raising these butterflies. So I know all about milkweed, and then when we had the park for Jane dedicated the milkweed there, we brought milkweed from our yard because our yard crazy with it. And it's just so exciting that somebody so young would be really interested in it. So I'm going to talk to the consultant, see if there's a way she can come down. I don't know if she can actually go plant the milkweed, but at least she can come down and watch. I mean, it's going to be great. And the fact that we're, as a municipality, taking an active role in trying to aid this population. There's a whole little subculture right in Belmar. I don't know how many people know, but There's a whole group, they're all up and down 11th Avenue, I can tell you that. Raising the butterflies, taking the milkweed in, looking for eggs, getting rid of the aphids, all this other stuff. And then it's amazing, it's really quite an amazing process to watch them make the chrysalis and have them come out. It's kind of like a little disgusting, it's kind of goopy, but, you know, it's really quite amazing. I don't know how she reaches. She reaches in the tank and grabs the butterflies by the wings and takes them out and be like, I'm afraid to break them, oh my God. So that's, was really, really a highlight for me, and I wanted to share that with everybody. And the other thing I wanted to add,
Just so let me interrupt, we leave maps at the butterfly garden,
yeah,
but we must have modern butterflies, because I think they must all use GPS.
okay.
Let's get to Mexico.
Yeah, I just thought they like, okay. This is the last council meeting before the election on November 6th, and I just wanted to take a second to wish good luck to all the candidates and congratulate all the candidates on what's been a very positive campaign this year. I haven't heard a lot of negative stuff. There hasn't been a lot of nasty stuff in the mailbox. There hasn't been a lot of that. And I really want to congratulate all the candidates for that. Thank you. That's my report.
Thank you. Council President Clay?
I want to thank Tom's wife for all of her efforts with the butterflies, because it is amazing to hear her stories, and also Janet Grosshandler. I am fascinated when I look at the posts on Facebook about how they do it and what they do and all the butterflies that emerge. Also want to thank you for the proclamation for the breast cancer awareness. I know we always say, get mammograms, get mammograms. I have zero history in my family, wasn't a smoker, nothing. And they did catch mine through my mammogram, and it was very aggressive. So can't stress enough to please have that done if you haven't, and do it regularly. Belmar Arts Council is having a holiday market. It's one day, November 17th, from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m., and it's all sorts of arts and crafts and holiday gifts. They're also having a holiday sales exhibit, which is more artwork, and that's November 28th through December 28th. So if you want some holiday gifts, that would be great. Belmar Recreation, they have a fabulous new program that was a couple weeks ago. It started on Wednesdays after school. It's open gym for children, and it's 3:15 to 4:30, and the kids are just absolutely loving that. So if you have school-age kids, it's 3rd, 4th, 5th?
3rd through 5th is coming on Wednesday, and then 6 through 8 is on Thursday.
Oh, so
Definitely the Wednesday one's the more popular.
Yes.
We had over 25 kids last year.
yeah, so over 25 kids, 3rd, 4th, 5th grade. It's just a really nice thing for them to do after school and get some of their energy out. We have the Halloween parade coming up on November 28th, 9th? October. That would be really sad if all those kids waited that long. 28th or 29th, I apologize. 29th, okay. And it is registration 11 a.m., the parade is at 12 p.m. If you haven't ever been there or have seen it, you should come and just watch. The kids are absolutely adorable, and the town does a great job with that. Unfortunately, we had the Kite Festival over the weekend, and there was no wind. No wind. But I was really surprised throughout the day how many people still were down there walking around, buying kites, talking to the different people with the huge kites, and everybody was giving it their all and trying to make it work. But of course, the day before and the day after were windy. But they really worked hard on that. I have to give kudos to the BVP and Sal Marchese from Salon Marcel, because they put a lot of hard work into that. And you can do the dedication.
Yes.
Okay. I don't want to steal that from Brian. Lastly, as I always say, shop local. I had the pleasure of bumping into one of the owners of a B&B in town, and he said he had an absolutely amazing summer, and it was booked every single night. He talked to the other B&Bs in town who said the same thing. Our restaurants are booming, but please keep the retail shops, the small shops in mind. Really, there's very little need to go out of our town for things that you need. So keep in mind always when you leave your house to shop local and to save on gas.
Thank you. First, I'd like to congratulate Mary Brabazon for the Belmar Fall Festival and her first dog parade, very successful. Some very imaginative costumes on the dogs, and it went very well. Also, what went very well was the Friendly Sons of Shillelagh's 5K run last weekend, which benefited the Sikh family. Steve Day, as you know, lost his wife Sharon earlier this year, closely followed by the death of his daughter, who left 3 young sons. And the monies raised from the 5K went to support their education fund. The largest run they've had was last year, which was almost 250 runners. This year, I hear they had 400. So that's great. And anybody that made any donations, thank you very much. Potholes. We're coming towards the end of the season. We still have some potholes if you notice them around. Call up the Department of Public Works, tell them where it's located, and we'll try and get somebody out there as soon as possible to fill that pothole. Because once the winter gets here, it's only going to get worse. So if we can fill out those potholes now, it's going to, make the winter better for us, and next spring. Jen mentioned about the dedication at Frigario Park for former Commissioner John Frigario, who was Commissioner for 26 years. There must have been 60 members there from the Frigario family, the Frigarios, the Juncos, the Cascrans, Michionis, all longtime Belmar people that came out. They were very, very happy with the work that our DPW did, thanks to Mike, John McGuire, Richie Nurl, Kevin Gann, who designed the landscape with the help of Sal Cercelli. Great job. We had a lot of police officers there to recognize a former commissioner in Belmar, even though it was, I guess last year's commissioner was in '73. So that's like 45 years ago. And to have his family come out and see the reaction of borough officials there also, they were very, very impressed. And John Frigario was a commissioner in town for 26 years, but if you look out here on the wall in the lobby, you'll see an Al Frigario, his brother, who was one of the sailors that perished on the Juno during World War II. Last, I don't know if anybody noticed, but Exit 98 has left Belmar after 25 years. The trailer was pulled off the boardwalk today. People were asking, is it coming back? What happened? Whatever. No, they have noticed us that they're done business with here in Belmar after 25 years. That's my report. So, right now we'll move to the public session on the resolutions, and only on the resolutions only on the agenda. We will have a public session at the end of the meeting. So if there's anybody out in the audience that would like to come forward and talk about any of the resolutions on the consent agenda, please step forward. Seeing none, I make a motion to close the public portion of the consent agenda. Do I have a second?
Councilman Levis.
Yes.
Councilman Walsifer.
Yes.
Councilman Brennan.
Yes.
Council President Distele.
Yes.
Mayor McGovern.
Yes. Is there anybody on the council that wants to pull any of these consent? All right, I make a motion that we pass the consent agenda. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Councilman Levis.
Yes.
Councilman Walsifer.
I just have one question on the bill list. Monarch, patient transport, what was that about?
That was a bill that we received from Monarch for a special officer who had a medical incident at work. It was not a workers' comp incident, but he doesn't have full medical coverage, and so the bill came to the borough.
All right,
and it
so,
was,
okay, all right, yeah, I got it, okay. All right, yes.
Councilman Brennan?
The locker fees, that's the same, right?
They're staying the same, no increase. We just put them on a little early in advance of the other fees so we could get the letters out a little early this year.
Yes.
Okay. Council President Nicolay?
Yes.
Mayor McGowan?
Yes. Okay, to ordinance. This is the first reading and introduction for ordinance 2018-15, an ordinance of the Borough of Belmar amending chapter 40? Parks and 15, that's 15.
I was
So
giving you the
close.
number, Mayor, that's
So
all.
close. Okay, Parks and Recreation Facilities to create a park commission.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And the first reading and introduction for ordinance 2018-16, an ordinance of the Borough of Belmar amending chapter 29, Water Sewer Utility Department to create regulations for sump pump connections.
Second.
So I have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Now we move to the public session of the meeting. So please step forward, give us your name and your address, and ask your question.
Ricky Renner, 1106 I try not to come to these meetings because as you talk, I can't stop writing. Okay, so you have the Parks Commission, you said you're creating, is that right, the new commission?
Yes, we would like to create a Parks Commission.
Okay, so I'm wondering if, to go along with it, should be natural beautification and Parks Commission. Years ago, I had brought up, we talk about money, when you brought up even the things from the group, everything costs money, the town is a business, so whoever running the store, the business, you guys have to create the money that pays for things. And years ago, I had gone on vacation and I came back and explained that in some towns, they have which you don't want to hear the word tax because everybody goes crazy, but there's a tourist tax in some places. And if you have a summer rental, if you have if you go away and you stay in a hotel, a lot of times on your checks, it says $12 for the so-and-so fee of a tourist fee is what you pay when you go someplace. So I'm not saying it has to be a lot, but there could be a small percentage that would be put on when it is certain things in town that could be taxed, that would be put into a fund for specifically parks and, beautification and park, the commission that you're working for, to pay for some of these things to beautify the town and make it work. Because you can have, before you said you can have all these great ideas, but then you can't do any of them because you don't have any money. The other thing that came to my mind when we speak about money is, I recently saw in Bayhead, years ago, I don't know if Mary will remember, if she's still here, but on the planning board, Board of Adjustment, we had talked about the Mayfair Hotel on Ocean Avenue. When Matt Doherty first got elected, I had gone to comment and mentioned to her, I never heard back from it, but it was about, the Mayfair has antennas on the top of the roof of the building. I was the vice chairman of the planning board at that time. We had to combine boards, and we were basically told we had to vote for it at that time because it was the only thing we could do to get Wi-Fi or whatever for the beach people. I was the only one, I think, at the time that voted against it because Mary had come with the Environmental Commission and made a very strong case about the effects of all the antennas on the beach. But it did pass. We voted for it, and I would like somehow, when you say to get back on things, maybe it can be looked up when it was approved because it was supposed to be temporary. I have not been on that board for many moons, and I guess it's a good 15, maybe 20 years that those antennas have not only got put up there, but have grown to massive amounts of antennas. And the reason I bring up Bayhead is because that money that they collect every month, that back in those days, I think it was $500 for one unit a month that the Mayfair was going to collect. My figures can be off, that's why I'd like it to be looked up to have proof of what it is. But I'm sure in all those years it's gone up, and instead of one antenna or 5 antennas, we have about 20 up there. So that is all Belmar's money that was supposed to come to us. And it was supposed to go in a single antenna at the time up by the first aid rescue building, that the newly one that was developed. It was supposed to be camouflaged by being a flag post, a very tall flag post housing all the wires. In all these years, again, things have changed. I'm sure, the EPA or wherever things would be put in and the storm surge or whatever, it would be a different world now, but that still can be our money. All that money should be coming to the town of Belmar. So I bring up Bayhead, New Jersey, where they have connected and have all those exact antennas on their water tower in their town. They're all connected to the water tower. The town gets all the money. So I would like somebody on the council or Colleen to look up when that was approved. I know it was temporary. I'm hoping it's temporarily done. I think someone said that they may have approved since then, the boards, additional places on there. But the key is to get that down, get that money into the town, and then we can pay for things to beautify our community and keep it where it's supposed to go towards the residents, not to a private entity of a hotel on Ocean Avenue. Okay, rant over on that. Townwide sale. I'd like you to take note that they changed the date of the townwide sales that they do twice a year. And it used to be right before Memorial Day, I guess, right before there, a week or so before. And you guys changed it this year to, March, April, so it was in June, like mid-June. Well, people don't come because you cannot park because everybody's at the beach. In May, it's still residential sort of time for us. So if it's a town thing, again, for the residents have to be priority on everything. And if you're going to do something for the community to host something like that, then people who visit that want to come here need to be able to park on the streets and do the townwide. So I would like you to check into possibly changing the date because it doesn't work during the summer. And people, when I did it, they said you couldn't park. People, it was just ridiculous. They said it was not worth coming. So people did not show up this time. Okay, antenna underneath there. I'm going to bring up the communication thing that when I was working with them, and it did come up as one of the first priorities because part of most of the presentation was from all on communication. And it would also include in my mind, I don't know, I'm speaking for myself, not the group, but it comes to mind when department heads, when you have the marina, you have Public Works, whatever is posted on the website, they would tell you when curb painting is going to happen. They would tell you when the street sweeper comes. The marina would tell you activities that go on there. So all those things, I mean, I lived here since I'm 28 years old, and people say, well, what day does this happen? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Look it up and tell people to look up things. They still get the garbage screwed out, people that rent here and there, because we don't have an easy way to do it. Recycling is separate and all that. But that's the goal in my mind, was to have all the department heads be part of that website, so updated website, so that everybody that wants to know anything in any department, it's easy access. The circles came up, I heard, again. I was probably one of the only ones that said to save the circles, like save the trees, I guess, but it says it's on a, you're talking about county roads, which Drew isn't here now, Chief Heisman. But years ago, I had worked on those four-way stop signs through community policing, and which is part of the communications I would like to see restored with the community policing. New people that have moved into town have no idea who their officer is. The program is listed on our website as an active thing in our community, and I would like to see better communication with that also down the road, or somehow how we reintroduce it to people who have moved here. Our community has changed drastically in the last 10, 15 years. New people that are not aware of many things that we have. And I think that's it. So with the parks thing, I think that right now would probably be all the other things. The antenna, if we could get the money, I would be happy to work on the Parks Commission and be a part of that. It's good interest in that. and beautification of our town has always been a priority for me, so, but I understand any wish list that we would have, we're gonna definitely need money, so I say we get the antenna money and spend it on making the town prettier.
Thank you, Vicki. Yes?
Hi, John Hutchinson, 519 6th Avenue. I don't have any notes, but one of the things that was brought up by the previous speaker about the antennas, there is a law, it's a federal law, probably written by lobbyists, that municipalities cannot refuse a telecommunication company their wish to put a antenna any place they want, basically. So we tried, as a zoning, I'm on the zoning board, we tried to convince them to put them on the water tower, and they said, well, they had an engineer and said it wouldn't work. We have to have it over here. Because the Bayfair has a pre-existing place for antennas, that's where they put them, because the law says they can. And basically, we can't refuse. It's an interesting law, but it's the way it works. So it's not like we could say to them, put it on the municipal building, put it on the, no, it just doesn't work that way. Just thought you'd like to know.
You mean we can't tell Washington what Belmar wants?
I think that may be the gist of it.
Okay, so,
And if I could just point out, because we did work pretty heavily with some of the carriers to try to get them to identify municipal locations so that the revenue would come to the borough. We ended up, many of you may remember, a few years ago, we RFP'd antenna space on this building. Verizon won. It's $1,000 a month that comes in as recurring revenue for us. We've tried again with the water towers, but with triangulation, they have a lot of engineering studies that say what works and what doesn't. But we keep trying, because it would be, again, nice to have more of these kinds of recurrent revenues.
Sure. Just last month, what was it, Sprint came
Yeah.
and said, we want to do this. We had no recourse. You know, we could vote them down, but then they'd sue us. And they'd win, because the law says that they can do that.
Colleen, we told them no about our lampposts along the boardwalk though, right?
Correct.
So they
That
can't
is-
override us
That's
there.
right. There's a-
That is
there's a
squarely
different-
out of the right of way.
That's right.
on our
That's
list.
right.
That's Wi-Fi.
That's not allowed.
Cell phone service.
Yes.
They were going to do that as well.
Oh, they were doing that.
Yeah.
You know what, it occurs to me, one of the other things that the federal government says you can't do is you can't bring up possible health risks
That's right.
as far as cell phone
Absolutely.
towers, because there's not enough documentation
Exactly.
to say that there really is a risk. You can say it all you want, but you can't admit it, it's not going to be considered part of the decision. So we're kind of overbarreling.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sir, back there?
My name is Joel Scardelli, I live on Snyder Ave.
Okay.
Full-time resident and have 3 little kids. Snyder was one of the recent petitions approved, it's changed to one-way,
Yes.
so it's now heading north,
Yes.
off of North Boulevard. So for a lot of different reasons, I have a pretty big problem with that as a resident. A couple things. Well, first, never saw the petition that went around. I guess a woman came and walked around a petition, got a few signatures. I live on the block, I live on the street. I would not have signed it, I would have certainly said no. So I was curious, number one, is it possible to see the petition? And I guess number two, regardless of that petition, is there a way to kind of fight that and get that change back?
The petition is certainly public record. If you want to give me your information, I can get a copy to you.
Yeah. One of the rationale there was we got 4 streets. 3 of them went the same direction, and only 1 went north, which didn't make sense to a lot of people in that area. And it's been discussed for a while, and it really, I think we discussed it last year, didn't we?
Probably 4 or 5 meetings that was
Yeah.
discussed that.
So overwhelmingly, it was like considered to better to change it so that we could have 2 of the streets going north, 2 of the streets going south, and that's what we did. Especially during the summer with the GPS. I mean, people were getting into that maze of that area between 18th and North Boulevard, 19th Avenue, 20th Avenue, Snyder, Surf, A Street and B Street, and just going around in circles. So we try to make it more simple for people.
Sure. So the influx in traffic that's going to now hit Snyder heading northbound, especially when the seasons change and the summer traffic hits, is going to be ridiculous. So a couple things, I guess. Number one, I don't disagree with the thought of maybe adding another northbound street. I think some thought should go into what street we choose, depending on the residents that live in. We happen to be a street with some kids. I have 3 of my own under 8. Across the street, we have 2 other little ones, and next door to them, there's more kids. There aren't that many streets in our vicinity where there's little kids. We may, I mean, if it's possible, if we could consider changing to a different street to head northbound.
Well, it couldn't be A Street because A Street is northbound throughout the town. And B Street is southbound throughout the town. So it's either becoming Surf or Snyder. And the way it is now, Snyder goes south, Surf goes south, Snyder goes north. So it's, the only way you could change that would be reverse Surf, reverse Snyder. And it's, I'm sure the people from Surf Avenue are going to come up to the microphone and present the same argument.
If they had kids, I suppose they would.
I'm sure they have.
I live in the area, there aren't that many people, little kids running around surfing. So.
Can I comment on this too?
Sure.
This wasn't just willy-nilly. I mean, a couple of residents came to us saying, can we make this change? And I personally don't like to make changes unless we have data to support it. And so what we asked this resident to do was prove to us that the people in this neighborhood want this change. And she went around, she collected, I believe it was nearly 40 or 50 signatures. And most of them were yes. I think there was only four no's. I mean, it's
So the
not
issue
a
is
small sample size.
I understand, but a lot of the people who didn't sign never even saw it, myself included.
And that may be possible. I mean,
Yeah,
she's-
so I mean, there's a large sampling of
Not,
people who aren't
not
a fan.
everyone is home when she reviewed this, so she did indicate people who weren't home, but certainly the petition is public record, so you can see it. And then after we saw that petition, we did have the 2 readings on the ordinance. And I know there was an article published in the CoStar about the change, so it wasn't, we weren't trying to be sneaky about
I
it.
understand.
We're trying to think about what the residents in that area want, and this was a good indication of what we felt the residents there really.
So if we got a petition of our own,
You can have a petition, we're going back and forth.
and I don't want to do that, I'm just trying to be rational. I mean, we're talking about a bunch of little kids, and, right, I mean, there's going to be high traffic on the summer
You are well within
season.
your rights to petition your neighbors and bring a petition to the council. Absolutely.
I don't want to turn it into that, that's why I'm trying to just have a dialogue about
I
it. That
agree,
makes
yeah,
sense.
but I mean, you guys are, and we encourage that. I mean, if you guys have a change in your neighborhood that you want, get the signatures, talk to your residents, bring to the council, because we'll listen.
I'm sure the police department is gonna monitor it close, and if it becomes a public safety issue, then we're gonna really have to take a look at it again. But changing it around now, I mean, the police department will keep an eye on it, they'll watch for any kind of accidents or whatever's happening down there.
Kid. Yeah, it's a kid getting hit, that's, I mean, I understand, thank you, I appreciate that, but it's a kid getting hit by a car, it's not gonna be somebody got, I didn't realize there was a one-way and we both came down at the same time.
Do you think a child is more likely to get hit by a car traveling north than
So, it's a good
going
point.
south?
It's a good point. My concern is less with the fact that it's heading in one direction or the other. I don't necessarily care if you go east and west, I don't care. The issue is the influx of traffic that's now gonna go down my street, especially during busy season. That wouldn't have normally gone that way. There's gonna be a lot more cars coming down North Boulevard and making a left down Snyder, which would have never historically happened.
As opposed to,
They would have continued further east and gone, either gone to Ocean and done whatever they wanted to do. Now there's this natural, and I already see it happening, there's
they
this
can
natural.
still go to Ocean.
They could still go to Ocean, but there's gonna be this natural propensity. I've already seen the influx of traffic going north. I was saying, look, I understand the reason, and it's working. I mean, that was the design. My concern is, can we do it on a street where there aren't a bunch of little kids? It's not gonna be a head-on collision, it's gonna be per child. That's
I
what I'm
guess
saying.
the signage is very clear, or just in general?
People are going the wrong way still. So, I mean,
You
it's,
got a habit of.
yeah, I do it. I mean, it's one way. It says one way going northbound. People are still coming the other, and that's not my concern. Yeah. So I think the answer is if we can get a petition of our own, then before the council.
Greg, once we pass an ordinance, does it have to last a certain amount of time? You know, is there a time limit?
It's still something changing mantle.
Yeah.
I have an ordinance that says it's south and north, so.
I know this is I'm not trying to do you guys. Sounds like they're ready to deal with it.
This will be the third one.
Thank you for
Thank you very much. Yes, sorry, Tom, so you're next.
Hey, my name is George Voloshin. I live at 1918 Snyder. I'm Joel's neighbor. I don't have any little children anymore. I've been there since '91, so I know the demographic of the area. Okay, I watched cars coming down North Boulevard, which is 25 miles an hour. Sure, they hit that road like a bullet. 100 feet up is the first driveway with the kids. Like I said, I don't have little ones here. I'm here for my neighbors, and I don't want to see anyone get killed. I've seen it too many times come too close. In fact, I believe you all just got an email from Gavin. Okay, his child was almost hit this past week. All right, now, I'm on the corner. This is good for me. When I come home, I just park. This is great. So we're going up to A, hit a stop sign, go up, hit another stop sign, hang a left, and go a slow one onto Snyder because of the ways. People naturally go slow. You are forced. Puts me out of my way. Do I care? No. All right? Just because a woman on 18th Avenue isn't at peace and got 46 signatures, and I told everybody on Snyder, she doesn't know that it actually goes from 19th to North Boulevard, evidently, because no one saw this, knew about it, heard anything. Okay? I'm home feeding the fish. My son comes in. Hey, Dad, you're facing the wrong way. Just out of nowhere. There's no communication on this either. All right? It's not a letter or anything, which is wrong in itself, which hopefully, they were talking about earlier, will improve in the future. But if a petition is needed to be 46, that won't be a problem. There's that right there. Okay? So I just wanted to back up what he was saying. I've been watching it. I know the demographics here better than anybody here. I'm telling you, it's a bad idea. And that's it. You have a nice night. Thanks.
Thank you. Tom?
Tom Volker, 527 8th Avenue. I want to compliment the Better Angel Group for the work that was done on the website recommendations. As you know, when the group was formed, the idea was that we should be able to find some issues that we could work on in a bipartisan way. And there were several that were addressed, and that was one of them. And I just hope that you're able to give it the attention it deserves. Thank you.
Thank you. Next time.
George Comatas, 111 3rd Avenue. Thank you, boss. I just want to make a comment real quick on what Tom Brennan said about the non-negativity, because like I've told people, the only time I don't like living in Belmar when it's time to vote, especially when you love two really good people. And going to the Figueroa Park, it was such a, two things stood out that Jim talked about: his father, about his uncle that passed away on the June. I remember as a child watching the Fighting Sullivans, and at the end of the show, I cried my eyes out. The mother went to the farm with the window and the stars that were there. And the other point was about how he talked about his father, who was a Democrat, and got along so great with Mr. McCleary and Mr. Taylor. I mean, that's the America I believe in.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Angela Pfeiffer, 319 Fifth Avenue. I had a thought about parking. We always have an issue with parking, and I figured maybe now we can start to think about it before the summer. The lines that you can park in on a street go from one corner to a person's driveway. But there's no lines in between to designate each spot. And I've noticed, I'm lucky enough I can walk up to the beach. In the 3 blocks that I walk up to the beach, I see so many spots that could be spots, but a car parked in the middle.
That's a killer, yeah.
And we're losing spots. And I noticed like in Point Pleasant, when you go there, they mark individual, just like a little line. Is that something that maybe we could think about? We could probably, I'm seeing at least 2 or 3 spots lost every time I walk up to the beach, and that's just walking down Fifth.
I just have my comment would be, so you have to make each space as long as the longest SUV, like a Suburban, then we're losing spots.
That I don't know. I don't know the logistics of it, but I can tell you, just on C, you know where I live, Jen, just on C Street, there should be 5 cars between my corner and my driveway. Most days there's 4, because somebody parked incorrectly. So we're losing a spot there. In front of the condos on Fifth, we're losing spots all the time. So I'm just wondering, I don't know what the logistics are, if we would end up, but if we could pick up a couple of spots on each block,
It would certainly help. And I believe some people do it intentionally so that someone doesn't
I think you're
park
right.
them in.
I think you're right.
And they'll take up 2 spaces.
And I think some people park far enough from their driveway so that their driveway doesn't get blocked, but then it ends up taking some of the spots. So it doesn't affect me. I'm fortunate I've got a 2-car driveway, but as I walk up, I see it, and I'm thinking, if we could pick up a spot here or there, might just something to think about. If we're going to do it before the summer.
Yeah, and so, I agree, but there's a sentiment out there, you can tell, it's like, consider the residents first, so that extra parking is probably gonna go for those people coming to us in the summertime. Let's concentrate on something for, the residents, might be, something else,
Well, but I think it
that
would
would
help
take up the
the,
DPW's
but I
time.
think it would help the residents too, because they can park and get as many spots.
You can come out on
Helps
Friday night and take
everybody.
the street park so that your
Absolutely. That's
drivers.
what most people do. They park this, seriously.
Well, some of the residents down in the south end of town don't even have driveways, so they have to park on the street anyway. It'd be interesting to see if we could do a side-by-side comparison, maybe line one side of the street, maybe the other the way it is, and see how we're doing.
The idea is, it would seem on the face of it that it's a good idea, but the devil's always in the details, and there's always unforeseen consequences. So I think you need to find out which way is supposed to work better. Nothing's perfect, right? Nothing's perfect. Like, I know that in front of my house, you could park 2 cars because we do it all the time. And then, God forbid, in the summertime, and we move those cars, when one car parks there, it's a weekend of just aggravation, right? But the reason we can park 2 cars is because my daughter's car is tiny, and my car is big. So we can fit them both in there, but if we drew a line in the middle of that space, I wouldn't be able to park my car.
Okay.
See what I mean?
Yes.
So I think what we need to do, I'm sure that you could probably Google it, like, what's the most efficient striping for parking along a thoroughfare? You probably find that stuff out. See what kind of reports there are. Or we could do what Councilman Levis says, let's do one side of the street and do the other and figure it out ourselves.
No, you make a good point. In that case, you'd end up losing a spot, and that's not what we're trying to accomplish.
Right.
I just seem to notice it when I walk, and gee, if that guy only backed up a little bit.
That's people.
I even spoke to Colleen many, many months ago, because when you drive around, you see the lines end to end, maybe 1 or 2 spots, but then you see all this distance that goes to the curb, and I'm always like, couldn't we squeeze one more extended line? But there's a rule depending,
Well, that I know,
how
because
much.
you're turning to the emergency
Yeah.
vehicles.
So, I drive around, I'm like, can we squeeze one more spot here, one more spot there, but.
It was just a thought in the off-season, and if there was a way to pick up more parking, I think it would all benefit.
Look at it, we're looking at it.
Okay.
Maria?
Hi, I'm Maria. I'm on Maria Ronzanaro, 1246 Pine Tree Way. And I'm just speaking up for my neighbors and I who, on the corner of Pine Tree Way and 16, the cars are going really fast and the trucks are going very quickly as well. And I know that there's been law enforcement to help monitor that, but we would like flashing 25-mile-per-hour signs. And I know some of this issue is that it's either a county or state road. It's a county road, right? So now we're having stop signs taken away on a road that is already way too fast. Is that what I'm just hearing, right?
It's a 25-mile zone, but
Right.
I don't know if anybody that goes 25 miles.
I do.
So do I, but the majority of us don't.
Right.
Especially during the summer months. And on Rhode Island Point, we're kind of trapped because we're in between Route 35. So you have to cross, if you walk, you have to cross over 16th to get anywhere. You have to be on 16th Avenue. So it's not just an issue for our children, it's an issue for our residents in walking and getting safely off the point. So we would like to be represented in some way, and I know you guys are working hard with the stop signs. What do we need to do? Because this is, several of my neighbors now are having the same concern. What is it that you would suggest us to do in order to fight this?
Letters and emails are always really helpful. You
Okay.
can send them to mayor's attention, any council member's attention, my attention. Email your freeholders, it is a county road.
Okay.
You know, they pay attention to that kind of a thing.
Okay.
Send it to me as well. I'll step up enforcement as well.
Okay.
That street's been a problem since I've worked here.
Yeah.
So
Is there somebody at the county level to reach out to?
Your freeholders are always the best place to start, because they really do pay attention to constituent issues.
I think once we get one of those signs, we will post it on that street. Once we get the ones, purchase the speed sign.
Are we allowed to do that on 16?
The county is supposed to authorize any of that. And certainly, we have a good partnership with them, but clearly it's not, we don't always get what we want. So again, that kind of encouragement to your county freeholders and whatnot is really helpful. We've had some successful initiatives that I think we should address again, where we've done some temporary speed enforcement with the temporary radar trailer and do a crackdown, and it helps.
Yeah.
Just keeping it up every so often. So we'll talk about some things we do.
That'd be great, and I'll have my neighbors come in as well. I think they're feeling a little bit, beat down, because I know that they've raised their concerns about this in the past, and it's hard to keep saying the same thing. But now I'm having my neighbors say, you know what, I think I'm gonna have to leave anyway. You know, that this is too much, that the
It's
speed
early in
is
the
so
morning
fast.
too that the traffic starts going
Yes,
fast.
yes, and I've heard that some are the Lynx trucks. I don't know, I'm further in, but it's a concern for me too.
What are the links?
The construction trucks that, they have a parking lot on 16th Avenue, I guess they leave early in the morning, and they, from what the neighbors tell me, they speed.
They're like leaving their yard, going out to their job.
I think over by Bar Anticipation,
Right.
they keep on property of
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
And they do,
Yeah.
they
Links, L-Y.
they really
Yeah,
speed
right.
down there as well, so.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much, I appreciate it, and I just want to make it put on the record that we've got an issue with it. So whatever you can do to fight on those stop signs and to increase the, awareness of our speed limit on 16. Thanks.
Thank you.
Can I get it then? Go ahead. You can get it?
Okay, so as long as you're bringing up the stop signs, isn't 10th Avenue a county road? No, 10th and 12th? Okay, years ago I was told they were. Okay, so it's not. But they told me all the through streets from Ocean 35 when we tried to do 12th Avenue a million years ago. I was told it was hard to get to go through the county, so those are not. Pardon me?
8th is between.
Well,
That's
yeah, that's just Highway 71, that's
Yeah,
the state.
71
Yeah, but-
is state.
Only one little section.
Okay, so what they're all bringing up about the parking and the notification, I don't know anything about the Snyder one-way or whatever, but when they changed all the one-ways, or a while ago when the police had sent, you said it was in the Coast Star and all that, that everybody was notified with all the changes. I live on D Street, and we didn't go because we looked at it as if it was about stop signs and one-ways, and things were changing to be more permanent. We woke up the next day, and D Street on the east side, which there's no parking ever in the summer, is now year-round. You cannot park at all on our side of the street. So we went to half the parking spaces on D Street, and getting back to saying, delineating a line so that, like you're saying, would have to go by the largest vehicle. And I'm one of those people that I park, I leave 3 feet extra, put my car there, so that when my husband comes home with his van, which is extra large, I pull in the driveway and he can get into a spot. Otherwise, you come home, there's no place to park. So that's a very involved thing, is putting what size car can fit on the street. But just so that the residents that are upset with the one-ways, D Street, again, that goes back to what we came here for, which was communication. So when things are passed through an ordinance, or ordinances are changed all the time, and they would be updated on our website, you would know, if you read them monthly or whatever, you would realize that this changed. You were saying they didn't realize it changed. They woke up and couldn't park there. We woke up, we couldn't park on our, no one realized it. So if the communication is listed on the website and you are interested in that, you would read it monthly and you would have an idea. The other thing I bring up, because I always bring up money, is that I would also be curious each time an existing ordinance is changed, approximately how much does that cost?
I charge you a flat fee for the month, so you can change.
You can change as
Same
many as you
price
want?
one, yeah.
Okay, so basically, there's only a set fee per month, no matter how many ordinances that get changed. So that's just, whether it's time or anything, or it's just a set fee.
And then we have the publication fee as well.
So the publication feature.
Okay, yeah, because years ago, I think it was different, so it's costly, so anytime things do change, you have to act like it's every dollar is yours that we're spending.
Thank you.
Okay?
Seeing none, I'll make a motion to close the public portion of the meeting. Do I have a second?
All in favor?
Aye. And I make a motion to close the meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.